Video. Streaming. Those that can record can't.
That's made for a good story.
Okay, the airplane meeting will come to order. I'm gonna make a change, and I'm gonna ask everybody to stand to the pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can I have a roll call, please?
Ryan Baker,
Present.
Tammy Boland, James Chrisman,
Yes.
John Collette, Chuck Ennis, Jeff Ford, Norm Froderman,
Here.
Don Folk,
Here.
John Hanley,
Here.
Rick Leisure,
Here.
Debbie May,
Here.
Chris Schweitzer,
Here.
William Burdine, Fred Wilson.
Here. Okay, we do have a quorum. We have any corrections to the minutes or the status report? Motion to approve. Second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Motion passes. Okay, do we have an executive director's report?
Yes, good evening. In addition to the written report this evening, I have a couple of other things. First off, you have some handouts there in front of you, one of which was an updated agenda for this evening. Please refer to it. It has some changes. I will inform you of the handouts when we get to them, rather than you having to try and sort them out ahead of time. The annual reports will not come out in August this year. We promise that. They will be much, much earlier. I'm happy to say that we are somewhere in the neighborhood of 65% complete on them already. So we are making excellent progress and anticipate those being completed into your hands probably in the next 2 months or so. Some interesting numbers coming out of those, which were included in my report for this month, particularly when it comes to the improvement location permits that we saw over the summer of last year. Really some interesting stuff. One more item. In the the Executive Personnel Committee meeting this evening, we had an item that came up in regards to subdivisions. Traditionally, whenever a subdivision comes before this commission, a major subdivision that is, it comes to us first off in a primary plat. Once that is approved, there is a 2-year time window in which the developer has to submit the secondary plat. We have a particular subdivision that is approaching the end of the 2-year time window, but is not ready to submit for their secondary plat yet.
Jared, I would move that anyone that has a primary application already approved due to the restrictions from the COVID pandemic and everything, that we extend that period for an additional year or make it 3 years from the date of the approval of the primary before they have to come back with a secondary application.
I would second that. All in favor, aye? Aye. Motion passes.
That's all, thank you.
Sydney, did you have anything?
Nothing
No?
consequence for this time.
Okay. I need a,
Motion to approve the director's report.
thank you. Second? Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, committee report?
I think we're good.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anyone who would like to speak on non-agenda items? Seems to be none. Okay. Okay, and the first item that I see is under resolutions, amendment to a declaratory resolution.
Yes, that's correct. You have a handout that is the beacon map to give you a better idea of what was referenced in the request. In this particular resolution, the petitioner is the City of Terre Haute Redevelopment Commission, whom adopted a declaratory resolution as amended many times over the years, which along with additional amendments is now collectively referred to as the declaratory resolution, establishing the downtown, north central, Jadcor, State Road 46, Fort Harrison Business Park, and Airport Authority areas. The declaratory resolution was confirmed by a confirmatory resolution and adopted for each area as amended. The commission now intends to amend the previously adopted resolutions as amended to include the acquisition of certain real property that serves or benefits the consolidated area, and that is the map that is included for further clarification. Staff does find that the plan as amended conforms to the comprehensive plan for the City of Terre Haute.
But we need to act on this.
Yes.
Any discussion? Anyone else have anything to comment on this item?
Motion for approval.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Okay, the next item is under subdivisions, county rezonings, docket number 2, file 1, 2021, the flats, Terre Haute Phase 3, replat of lots 2 and 3.
Let's see if I have it. Okay. The property is located northwest of the intersection of 25th and Margaret Avenue, 3.88 acres. The developer is RJ Builders, surveyor is Mr. Keller. The request is to replat lots 2 and 3 in Bauer Sub, creating 2 new lots. Lot 2A will be used for dense residential development. Lot 3A will be used for commercial development. The health department has approved, public sewer and water are available. No new public roads are proposed. It is not in a flood zone. The lots do exceed the minimum lot size requirement. Stormwater drainage plan will be required with a major subdivision. The setback requirements as indicated in the plat are more restrictive than are required. Margaret Avenue and 25th are considered a major thoroughfare and require a front setback of 20 feet for Lot 2A and 0 feet from the front setback for Lot 3A. The site plan submitted with the rezoning has a drive cut located on Margaret Avenue that appears to be located on the west side of Lot 3A. An easement has been platted for the drive that traverses Lot 3A, extending into Lot 2A. It also appears that a concrete street that is a part of Bauer 3-lot sub, Lot 1, will be adjoined. An easement may be needed for access to Lot 2A from Bauer 3-lot, Lot 1, unless the indicated concrete street is a public road or is a private street maintained by the same property owner. Approval of this plat is contingent upon the plat being recorded within 90 days after the plat is dated and signed by the president and attested by the secretary of the commission. So we offer favorable on the subdivision portion with the following conditions: a road cut permit where needed, drainage and erosion control plan approval, bonding of 110% for infrastructure if needed, and approval of the rezoning.
Okay, is the petitioner present, or his representative?
It has a zoning.
Yes, this has a,
You want to do the zoning too?
has a rezoning to be heard. Would you like them heard concurrently?
I guess we just will.
Okay.
The petitioner is the Flats of Terre Haute LLC. Proposed use is a multifamily apartment complex in a single commercial building site. Proposed zoning is R3 General Residence District and also C1 Neighborhood Commerce District. The current zoning is R2. It's located at 2917 South 25th Street in East Margaret. It's identified as a neighborhood enhancement area. To the north is R3, to the east R1, to the south R1 planned development, and C2, in the west C2 and C1. The flats of Terre Haute Phase 3 will be replatting lots 2 and 3 in Bauer Sub, creating 2 new lots. Lot 2A, which is proposed R3, will be multifamily residences with 1-bedroom apartments and 2-bedroom duplexes. Lot 3A, proposed C1, will be office space to serve the apartment complex. The proposed rezoning is in harmony with the comprehensive plan. Over the past 20 years, the surrounding parcels have continued to infill and develop. The proposed development would continue to trend. The first portion of the flats were rezoned in 2014, Special Ordinance 19-14. Staff offers a favorable recommendation with the following conditions: approval of the subdivision and approval of the site plan by city engineering.
Okay, we've got the surveyor here for any questions. versus, equal.
Yes, we did receive a letter of remonstrance from Mr. Yamato, if I'm saying that correctly, I hope so. He was expressing concerns over increased traffic there at the corner of 25th and Margaret.
Yamamoto.
Thank you.
He's a chiropractor.
Yamamoto, yes, thank you.
I have to write his name on checks periodically. Not for me.
Okay. Is there any discussion from the planning commission? Or question? Is there anyone in the audience speaking in opposition? Do I need a motion?
I'd move for a favorable recommendation for the rezoning and approval of the subdivision.
Favor aye?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, the next item is docket number 6, special ordinance 2, 2021, 2917 South 25th, from an R1 or R2 to an R3 multifamily apartment complex. Isn't that the same thing? Okay. Next item is docket number 1, special UZO 1, 2021, 164 East Hall Drive, R1 to an R3 multifamily residential district. Excuse me.
And the subdivision's minor, docket number 3.
Well, I'm just having a hard time seeing these things.
He was going the way they were in the way they were in his packet. We missed it all together right after the declaratory resolution.
I usually pick those up at some point in time, so. Let's go with docket, I don't know why I checked it off, but anyway. Docket number 3, file 2, 2021, Shoptaw subdivision.
Okay, the property has frontage along North Crow Street. There's one. Okay, I know. So it is commencing approximately 110 feet south of where Crow becomes Auk Lane. Road access is along North Crow Street. The surveyor is Mr. White. The applicant is requesting to replat portions of Otter Creek Estates and a parent tract creating 3 new lots totaling 4.35 acres. The Health Department review is still pending. On the plat, there is a house that we thought was a pole barn, so we need to work out some issues there, and the Health Department is currently working on that as well. It is not in the Terre Haute Airport overlay. Public water is available. It is not in the flood zone. The lots do exceed the minimum lot size requirement, and no additional traffic should be generated by this request. Prior to this request, the property owner had multiple uses crossing lot lines. This request adjusts property boundaries so that all uses are in conformance. Easements are indicated for drainage, septic, parking, and ingress-egress where needed. Multiple zonings will exist within the existing lots. A rezoning will be needed. The approval of this plat is contingent upon the plat being recorded within 90 days after the plat is dated and signed by the president and attested by the secretary of the commission. So we'd offer a favorable with the following condition, that a rezoning be approved to accommodate the new legal descriptions.
Okay, Commissioner President. Is there anything that you want to add or any questions you have? Okay, any questions from the Planning Commission? Anyone speaking in opposition? Have a motion. Approved. Second? Second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Motion passes. Now, I greatly appreciate everybody keeping me in line because I still can't figure out how I marked that one off. Anyway, I believe that the next item is docket number 1, UZO 1, 2021, 164 East Hall Drive, from an R1 to an R3 multifamily residential district.
That's the one.
Yes.
All right, we're on track.
So the petitioner in this case is ZNS Properties LLC, represented by Mr. Valdez. The proposed use is multifamily. Current zoning is R1 Single Family Residential District. The proposed zoning R3 Multifamily Residential District. Common address 164 East Halt Drive. To the north, south, west, and east are all R1. The north also has a C7 zoning. This rezoning is in response to a complaint filed by a neighbor on 10/2 of 2019. A visual inspection of the property was made by the Building Inspection Department of Vigo County. The inspection revealed violations of Section 1102 of the Unified Zoning Ordinance of Vigo County. Specifically, multiple dwellings were located on a single-family residential zone parcel. A certified letter was sent to the property owner of ZNS Properties. After receiving no response, a citation was issued on 2/5 of 2020. No representative appeared for the initial summons on 2/7 of 20. On 3/6 of 20, Mr. Frederick made an appearance on behalf of the property owner and stated that they would attempt a rezoning to rectify the ordinance violation. Our office placed a follow-up call to the petitioner's representative on 8/11/20, requesting an update, as yet no rezoning had been filed. The petitioner has retained Mr. Valdez and filed for the rezoning in January. The property has a permit for a detached garage in 2002. The detached garage has since been converted into a two-family dwelling without permits or inspections. The existing home and detached converted building will need Board of Zoning Appeals approval for variances. Both side yards and rear side setbacks do not meet minimum standards. No floor plans were given to our office to determine if each unit meets livable size requirements. We are unsure of the number of units. Hard surfacing will be required for the drive and parking areas. Halt subdivision was platted in 3 sections. At the time it was platted, it was the intent of the developer to create a subdivision containing 25 lots for single-family homes. To this day, 15 of the original lots still contain single-family homes. The first 2 lots on the north and south side of Halt, having frontage along Highway 41, have been converted to commercial uses. This is a unique area of southern Vigo County. All around commercial uses have become the predominant use. High-intensity uses have been encouraged to develop and are recommended by the comprehensive plan. It is staff's opinion that the R3 zoning at this location, in this one lot, is not in keeping with the development standards as intended by the developer, and is not in keeping with the nature of the existing neighborhood. This is evidenced by the multiple variances needed to make this use possible. The R3 zoning could be possible if multiple lots were platted into a single lot, then rezoned. However, rezoning one lot to accommodate a property owner who is in violation of the Unified Zoning Ordinance is not a viable means to resolve the violation. This petition could potentially alter the general characteristics of the neighborhood and would not provide substantial justice for that neighborhood. So based on the above findings, staff offers an unfavorable recommendation on the R3 rezoning request. If a favorable recommendation is forwarded, then staff would request the following conditions be added. Submittal of a floor plan depicting all relative information, including proof of livable space per unit. Board of Zoning Appeals approval for the variance is needed. Building permits to be issued for the converted livable building from a detached garage, and hard surfacing of the provided parking spaces. It is believed at this time that the bottom unit of the rear building is currently being used as storage. If so, then only 2 units are believed to be at this location. Staff could support an R2 zoning at this location and would offer a favorable recommendation on the R2 zoning with the approval of a major subdivision and confirmation that the bottom unit is and can only be used for storage. Certain conditions as listed above, of course, would still apply.
Okay, I think everyone has a memorandum. There's some folks that have sent a letter in that they're opposed to this R3 zoning.
We did receive one letter of remonstrance from a Mr. Hunt and et al. There are several other authors on with this. They were citing concerns over increased traffic, safety for children in the neighborhood, disruptions in the neighborhood as a result of the rezoning.
Okay, Petitioner President?
Yes.
Okay, anything you want to add or any questions you have?
No, we just want to, only thing I want to add is, my client purchased the property after this renovation was done back in 2000, and we're not using the property until our current tenant wanted to use that unit as livable space, which is the second floor of the garage space. The bottom is just an empty slab. We don't have it. There's only one unit in that garage, and then there's the actual house in the front. Other than that, there's nothing else we would like to add.
Okay, any questions from the Planning Commission? Is there anyone else speaking to this issue? Okay.
since this is a zoning issue and we only make recommendations, staff would be supportive of recommending a change to R2.
Yeah, a slight increase in density at that location, we believe would not drastically alter the nature or characteristics of the neighborhood. Certainly, and I believe Mr. Valdez has just testified to this, that use has existed for some time, and it has only received the one complaint. And if that is the current status, that there are 2 residents there, and that third unit, the floor of the back building is in fact only storage, then an R2 zoning would be all that would be required. And again, it's only a slight increase in density, which should not detrimentally alter that neighborhood.
Given that his clients purchased the property probably not knowing that the situation wasn't in compliance with the ordinance, I would recommend that we forward a recommendation to an R2, not an R3. I think R3 is way outside the bounds of what that neighborhood should support, but I would offer that motion.
We have a second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is docket number 5, UZO 2-2021. 8930 East Wabash Avenue from an A1 to a C2 commercial community.
The property owner is the Rock Church of the Wabash Valley Incorporated. The proposed use is Mosaic of Terre Haute, healthcare services to people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, which includes adult daycare activities, personal care. It's currently zoned A1 agricultural. The proposed zoning is a C2 community commercial district. And as we know, the property is located on the US Highway 40, right near US Highway 40 there, kind of where they split off into Old Maple. Recommended for this area is suburban residential. The area is served with sanitary sewer and public utilities. Surrounding uses are to the north, A1, south, RS, west and east, both have A1. West also has a C3, east also has an RS. There can be found no direct mention in the zoning ordinance for the use as described by the petitioner. Elsewhere lies mention of care centers or ministries related to children's health and wellness services. Neither of the above-mentioned uses adequately describe the proposed use as petitioned. Without a direct parallel, staff had to search for like uses, and again, found no analogous uses. The closest that could be found were 399 East 40th Drive, which is Hope Bridge, C3, or 3833 Union Road, which is Happiness Bag, and that's a C2. With limited findings available, the closest coordinate zoning that could be used as guidance was that of UZO 2 of 2005. Therein, the petitioner sought rezoning for a Center for Adaptive Recreation and Education for Persons with Disabilities. So the language included in this particular petition does include healthcare services to people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, adult daycare, living activities, personal care, and the use of individuals in service. So again, not a uniformity, but close enough that staff feels comfortable in using UZO 2005 as a precedent and offering a favorable recommendation on the C2 Community Commercials Rezoning District request with the following conditions: that a hard surfacing occur of all public use areas, and that a completed site plan with staffing and client numbers so as to determine the adequacy of parking on site be submitted.
Okay, is the petitioner present? Is there anything you'd like to add or any questions you might have? Okay, any questions from the Planning Commission? Anyone speaking in opposition to this petition? Do we have a second? All in favor, aye? Aye. Motion passes. I believe that completes our agenda, right? I'd like to thank you very much for straightening me out. Do I have a motion to adjourn? So moved. Second. Favor aye? Aye. Thank you. Aye, you're in charge.
I didn't see it either.
You know, once you check it off.
It's all.
It's open.